Excited that you can join us, and thank you very much for making time to be a part of the show this evening. This is Just Ask, and I am glad because the men are in the house and they are true men of God who have answers by God's grace to all your questions. Remember that we're live also on TV Dominion, TV DSTV 352, and that's the channel. Remember also to connect with us via Facebook and also YouTube. We're streaming live, and so this show is live on Facebook and of course on YouTube. So connect with us, let us know what you think. And I ask very critical questions, just as I will be doing so in the show. Do we have a fatherhood crisis? Why are men or fathers referred to, almost all of them, 90%, referred to as irresponsible? Why do you think that fathers would absent themselves? Is it intentional? Is it by the handiwork of the devil? Let's discuss all of these dispassionately, but of course, laced with godly wisdom as well. Today, I have your favorite personalities joining me. Starting from my left, immediate left here, is Reverend Mark Enyonam Amlade, who's with the Tefila Ministries Internationals. Thank you very much for returning, agreeing to return. We started something last week,
yes,
and we are going to continue as well.
Yes, please.
In the middle, sandwiched by the two fathers and husbands, is a very young man who is aspiring to become a father very soon, of course, a husband. We have Pastor Buddy, and Abby, you know now. We have a name, of course, we'll launch it later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pastor Buddy, for joining us. Thank you. And he tells me that one of his favorite topics is the one we're about to discuss, the phenomenon of fatherhood, and so I'm excited about it. Also, is the man who belongs to Action Chapel International, Community 2, and of course is our one and only Reverend Roland Soa. So these faces you know. Thank you for joining us. But of course, before we come to you, there's a special message that we have to hear, and it's from the Apostle of Strategic Prayer, the man who took it upon himself to introduce charismatism to Ghana and of course parts of Africa as well, and the man that is loved by many of us, and of course has lots of children out there. I'm talking about one and only Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Has a special message on behalf of all of us and to all of us. Take a look. When we come back, all of these and more. Stay with us.
Well, praise God. Today, all across the nations of our world, fathers are being remembered and fathers are being celebrated. The father factor is a very serious subject in the life of humanity. God purpose. He ordained right from the beginning of time that fathers should play a very important and strategic role in the life of his creation, beginning from Adam. One of the main responsibilities of a father is to also raise his children, his sons, to become fathers like him, and then move from the place of fatherhood to grandfather, and let his sons who have become father also give birth to sons and develop them into father. And so whether you're a spiritual father or you're a biological father, you have an awesome responsibility to your children and to your sons to develop them, raise them up to become fathers. Because until your sons become fathers, for whatever reason, they will never mature and be everything that they ought to be in order to cause the baton and the generations after you to continue. The legacy continues with fathers, not just with sons or with kids or children. I pray that you'll be celebrated and that God and your children and earth will remember you for good and not for evil. Live long and prosper, and don't forget that you have no business dying and leaving this earth until you raise your children, your sons, to become fathers like you and move on to be a grandfather and a great-grandfather you have no business checking out. Congratulations to be a father. God bless you.
Of course, we're grateful to the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams for connecting with us and, of course, wishing all of us Father's Day. Of course, it was celebrated last week, but we had to do a show to commemorate it. And, of course, to have we could be passionate, but dispassionate of every other thing. Let's not be emotional today. Let's tell the truth. And that's why we brought this man to discuss it. And so thank you very much. Let me start off with Reverend Soa on this one. Permit me. At the tail end of Archbishop's message, he mentioned something that's quite interesting. I want us to start from there. It says, you will not die, but of course, and I'm paraphrasing, you raise children like you. The question I just want to ask is whether or not somebody watching us today will be excited that they will raise somebody like who he is. Whether I'll be excited that I'll raise a child. Fatherhood crisis. Is there anything like fatherhood crisis?
Yes, thank you so much, and a very good evening to your viewers all over the globe. Yes, there is a fatherhood crisis, and also it has to do with the fact that fathers have also lost their identity, growing up, because they were also fathered by their fathers. And now what has happened is what they learned from their fathers is what they are dispensing to their children. As a matter of fact, it has become worse because of the changing trends when it comes to the fact that we find ourselves in a technological age. Things are on the fast lane, getting 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet, take care of your family. And there are some jobs that will take you away from home for several days, several months, several weeks before you come back home. So there is a crisis identity when it comes to fatherhood. But then it can be narrowed to the male man. The man has lost his disposition when it comes to, being a man and being a father. As a matter of fact, it is being a man, being a male, being a husband, and being a father. That is a progression, okay? So fatherhood actually happens to be the zenith of it all. And if you find yourself being a father, it's quite challenging. There is so much that we have not been taught by our predecessors. If you look at the Greek word for father is pater, it also has to do with manager, okay? If you look at the Hebrew word is abba, okay? That is, it has to do with source, okay? And that also has the connotation of manager. You're supposed to manage your home, okay? You're supposed to be the glue of the family. And if you are a father and you are unable to bond your house, then we're going to have some kind of leakages in the home. Yes, so there is a very big crisis when it comes to our identity as fathers, and we have to look at that and rewrite the script.
Quite a number of questions on my mind today. I don't know how to offload them. I'll take them one after the other. You said you're very passionate about this. Where did it stem from?
First of all, it's personal.
Okay.
And then it's an observation. When we were younger, we used to, I didn't even know half of the things I know now when I was younger. And I didn't even know that just the issue of fatherhood can affect a person like this. It can shape your life. It can shape your decisions. It can shape your direction. It can shape your perspective, your worldview. Just the presence or the absence or a certain type of involvement of a father or a father figure in your life, it can change your whole life. It can turn you around. The severity of it, where I work currently, long and short of it is I'm a law enforcement person, right? And many of the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, especially the males, it's mostly males. I don't even remember any case that a female was like the main suspect. The males, they are into all sorts of things. And when you talk to them and you trace it, track it, it boils down to a certain domestic issue. Many times, the absence of the father. So when you see these things recurring over and over and over again, and I'm a youth pastor as well, I deal with young people. And when you look at the issues that the young people have, and you try to find the source of it, the root cause of it, it always goes back to the home. The mother, the father, the home, all the time. So when it comes to parenting, just as the cell is the unit of life, I think the family is the unit of every society.
Right.
Everything begins from there. If we don't get it right on the family level, that's it. The world is the way it is right now because of how the family system has become.
Right. And mostly also it's because, just as I can tell from what he's saying, they are absent. The men are absent. Those who must show leadership. And also, because I don't know if we are the strand that hold the family. Is that how it's destined to be? Where is this coming from?
Okay, so the man is the adhesive that holds the family together. Like he said, the father is the Abba, the source. We go back to Genesis.
Right.
When man was created, the male man, let me use the male man because there is female man.
Right.
When the male man was created, he was created from the ground. The female man was created out of the man, meaning that the male man was to be the foundation that the woman is to grow upon. So the male is supposed to be the foundation of the family unit. Without that foundation, every other thing is corrupted. The Bible says if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So the fatherhood concept is not just a matter of just being a man or having male genitalia. It is about purpose.
Okay.
The purpose for which God created the male man was to be the one that will be the foundation, who will be the visionary. Now, there are three concepts when it comes to the functions of the male man. We have what we call the priority, we have what we call the placement, and what we call the atmosphere. Now, if you look at the creation story, the priority, man was created as the zenith of God's creation. It tells a lot. Now, that was to give us a function of the male man. The second thing has to do with the placement. Where was man placed? Man was placed in the garden. That also tells a lot. The Garden of Eden was not just a normal place. It was like the most special place on the whole earth.
Right.
I would say the most concentrated part of the whole earth. That represented the glory of God. That was supposed to be an incubator for the man to spread the glory of God. So the male man was to also function as a spiritual leader, someone who hears from God. One time I heard Bishop James say this. He said, the head of anything contains 5 senses. We have the eyes, we have the ears, we have the nose, we have the mouth. So the man or the male man is supposed to be the eyes, the visionary. He's supposed to be the one who hears from God. Smell, sensitivity, mouth, authority. So once that is under attack, then it means the whole family is under attack. So being the father of the home goes beyond just money.
Okay.
Because what is happening now is that we've restricted it to just money. Once you have money to provide, because you can have money, but yet you are not, you provide without money. Like I'm a pastor, I'm the senior pastor of the church. When God gives me a vision for the church, I may not have the money, but people help me to make sure that vision comes to pass. I don't have the money, I have the vision. So the concept of the head has to be understood.
Okay.
And let me end with this. All through life, my observation personally, is that it looks like we spend more time training the female man. Because even in church, we have a male co.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of male,
Yes. That's true.
So we have a lot of female, whatever, and it's almost like it's always the woman. But we don't have any training for men. Like when you are born, it's like it's automatic. You have to
just
know.
assume that
You have to assume. But the female is taken through orientation. You have to dress this way. This is how a lady dress. But they don't teach a man that this is how you dress. This is how you talk to a woman. Because
But as we started saying the other day, we are training the women, and of course, I think you made that point
Raising wives.
succinctly. Raising wives who
husbands.
marry who?
marry
the
boys.
men who
They marry
are
boys.
not being
They
trained?
marry boys.
Yeah.
They marry boys
Marry
because
boys.
I have both male and female. The problem is that sometimes I realize that we easily overlook the males because you know why? I think it is fear. The reason most of the time you see parents focusing more on the woman is fear.
Okay.
I'm afraid.
They are afraid the lady will bring in pregnancy. For the man, when he goes, it's out.
Yeah.
Going to hustle.
He's going to hustle. So if the man gets a lady pregnant,
Yeah, we can solve. But I want us to return to this point. The issue of providing.
Yeah.
The world is moving. I don't know who made it the primary responsibility of a man that he becomes the provider. And if you see the burden on your family and what the responsibility, nobody will tell you to go around
Oh, yes.
and labor and bring it. Now, once you are doing that as well, you are creating the vacuum. Are we the men misunderstanding the role, or what is being brought to us is what has been misunderstood?
Well, I think that failure to sort of clarify the role of men
That's it.
in families is one of the major causes of disruptions in our relationships. And you see, if we are not careful, for example, come to think of it, the woman is as safe as the man.
Right.
If the man is not safe, the woman is in
not safe,
danger.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you look at the role, some are traditional. The fact that they are traditional doesn't mean it's biblical. For example, who brought the concept of the wife has to be in the kitchen and cook? The man has to pay the bills. It's not in the Bible. It's not a matter of who does what. It's a matter of ability. Okay. Now, you come to also look at the fact that if you look at the book of Genesis, the first thing God gave man was image. The second thing was has to do with power.
Yeah.
So he says that, and God made man in his own image, which is character. Okay? Then he says, when he comes and he says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. So it's always character before power. But now it's the reverse. We look for the power before we come and shape our character. Now, if I heard you right, Koku, pressure is the
From
key
who?
thing. Pressure from society. Your in-laws are calling. Your wife is actually after you. Your kids are demanding fees. You go to the job, you have a target to meet. So many things. You don't even have 2 minutes for yourself. When you take leave to come and rest in the house, in fact, putting off your phone, you hear knocks on your doorsteps. People are coming to see you. It's been a long time. You don't even intend to chat. That's what I'm saying. So you have to just, play the face, put in some 1 or 2 things to make the person, to appease the person. Then the next day you go back to work. So the pressure all over the place sort of makes
crazy.
men unable to perform. And I think that if you talk about role, I see the role to be one. Bible makes us understand that God gave Adam the commandment, thou shalt not eat of this tree, which is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, okay, before Eve came. So if you look at the blessing God gave them, God never blessed Adam when he created him. He waited for Eve to come before he blessed them by saying, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, have dominion. Who did he say this to? To them, not only man. Okay, so the role the man is supposed to play is to teach the woman what he heard from God, which the woman didn't hear.
Yeah.
That's the commandment. Okay, that makes him the head. That is why you don't have to let your wife know more than you do. If your wife reads a book, make sure you read 2. If she prays 1 hour, make sure you pray 2 hours.
Yeah.
You are not a man because of what you carry or your physique. You are a man because of what you know. So that is it.
I see. We have some 2 minutes to go for the break and return. In 1 minute, is that why men will run away? Because of the pressure?
Yes.
And
mostly.
would they be justified? Would that be justified action?
The Bible says if you fall in a day of adversity, your strength is small. It's a matter of capacity. If we build capacity, it's not because the battle is hard, it's because your strength is small. So there's a difference between trying not to fail and trying to succeed. I think most men try not to fail, and when it gets overwhelming, they just duck. And it's not our fault. I'll add myself to it and say it's not our fault, because if you don't have capacity, there's nothing else you can do. The suicide rate of men is, I think, 4 or 5 times the rate of that of women. Wow. Because most men just cannot bear it, and they would rather die than to be a failure, quote unquote, or a disgrace. Yeah. So basically,
I see. Quite a number of thoughts. Yes, briefly, yes.
Like you talked about suicide.
Right.
A man who commits suicide and he just goes. A woman who commits suicide, she will come. I mean, she will be salvaged. The situation can be salvaged, and she'll be helped out. Because, a man will use an instrument that will take his life just straight away. A woman will drink poison and begin to shout, and help will come, and she will be delivered. So
That's an
men
interesting
are
one.
really under pressure.
We are really under pressure. Just as we said, societal pressure. Some people have said it's self-induced. How do you go about all of this? Once again, for me, I hear people like this. I sit down with friends of mine who are also fathers like I am and talk to them. But most importantly, also read books. Yeah. Read books. And that's why, for me, I'm excited that, once again, understanding the fatherhood factor is one of the things that I go to. And if you have Amazon, go check this book out, the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams book, Understanding the Father Factor. And that's the Fatherhood series in this volume 1. Please get it. It teaches you, and in chapter 3, chapter 4, you find fatherhood is responsibility and leadership. Yeah. Chapter 3 talks about responsibility. Chapter 4, leadership. And quite a number of things, very practical things, people you can model your life after. Because otherwise, if we do not know, and our children grow to become ignorant like us, the world and our legacy will be destroyed. And so go to Amazon. If you cannot get Amazon and you are in Ghana, Accra, you can come to the Action Chapel bookshop and get a copy for yourself and get to read, get yourself abreast, and get ready to become the father of the millennium. I have to change. But of course, we'll take a break. When we come back, I'm still asking the questions. Why would fathers be absent? Why are we told every time that we are irresponsible? Do you have answers? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Get ready for an unforgettable experience. This is Us, the ultimate TV game show for loved ones, couples, and friends. Join us as we celebrate the bond that ties us together in this heartwarming competition.
You are close, Renee.
Laugh, share, and test your knowledge alongside your favorite people.
What is your wife's shoe size? It's about to go down.
Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to This Is Us and let the games begin. This is Us, where love, laughter, and competition collide.
Oh, Charlie Dior. Huh? It looks like Charlie Dior. Charlie, what do you see with the team?
Showing every Saturday only on Dominion TV.
Barca's season is up and running. Save! Save of the champions of the world!
Sports Break on Dominion TV.
Welcome back. We're excited that you can join us. We are talking about fathers. We're celebrating them, but of course, asking the very critical questions that must be asked, because we need to reshape and, if you like, even disabuse some minds, because people still have some mindset that, well, if it is tiring, Charlie, let me just run and just duck, just as Pastor Buddy says. But let me come to you. The issue of irresponsibility, I mean, we've heard it. I don't know how many people sitting here have had fathers who also said were irresponsible. Is it the absenteeism or just not standing up for it? And we spoke about where it comes from, when the pressure is. But let's talk about why a man must not run away from responsibility. And if he doesn't run, what must he do?
Okay. This is a very deep question, but the truth of the matter is that men are wired in such a way that we cannot run. Men want to always, we have ego.
We have ego.
Yeah, it is very difficult for a man to quit something. When a man quits something, that means that it's seriously overwhelming. So most men are under pressure, one, because of ego, to please the society. You know, as we are all sitting here, we are all men, but deep down, we all have certain, aspirations that we want to meet. And the truth of the matter is that no matter what you do as a man, you'll be disappointed. You'll be disrespected. Your input will not be appreciated the way you feel it should be appreciated. So most men, become discouraged. The absenteeism doesn't even happen when they leave. Some are present but absent. The absenteeism, the truth of the matter is that most men truly are absent. They physically they are just there, but they're absent. Because there are 4 types of absenteeism. We have those who leave because of responsibilities.
Right.
Second, they leave because of the woman. Third, there are those who stay but they have left in their minds. Emotional absenteeism. And there are the fourth group is even dangerous. There are those who feel they cannot meet up the standards, so they've left in their minds, but they are there. So their mouth has been closed. They've lost the authority over the home. So there are a lot of reasons why a man would just lose that position. And sometimes I think that is where the woman comes in, the female man. Because the woman was created to help the man.
Right.
I think appreciating your man is very important. Sometimes you just have to look at your man and tell him that, look, I know you are doing a lot and we really appreciate. Because most of the time, most men don't know that they are doing a lot till they die.
Yeah.
How do we solve some of these issues that are connected to men? Mental health, addiction, financial stress. How do we approach it? And you've dealt with quite a number of them professionally. Where you sit, who covers the man really in these issues?
I think if you are going to talk about a solution, you need to first identify what the issue is, what the problem is. And largely, from where I sit, I see it to be primarily a spiritual problem. The devil is not stupid. He can be a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them. In 2 Chronicles chapter 18 and verse 30, the king of Syria gave a critical instruction. They were fighting. Jehoshaphat and Ahab had met. They wanted to know what will happen of the battle. They had invited prophets and so on. And the king of Syria said, when you go to the battle, don't fight with anybody. Fight with only the king.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is, if you kill the king, the show is over. He's the one who gives the instruction. It's the same thing. When you are feeling warm, where do you fan? Your legs? No, your head. Because when the head is cool, the whole body is cool. If you cut the head off any organism, the rest of the body is useless. Yeah. The head is very, very important. And God has identified the man as the head of the home. God has identified the man as the controller of the home. And if the devil is going to do damage to the family system, he would concentrate on the man and eliminate him. And the way it looks now, it is very obvious what the devil's strategy is. The devil is not against morality or good morals. What he's against is Jesus Christ. Yeah. You and I know that you can live a very moral life and die and still go to hell.
Yes.
Jesus is the difference. And so he's trying to eliminate the authority of Christ from the home altogether. And that cheapens the atmosphere and gives him enough, leeway to enter and do whatever it is that he wants to do. And so many of these mental health issues are stemmed in, like what Reverend Sowa says, identity crisis. They don't know who they are. If you know who you are in Christ, you know who you are as a man, you know who you are as a father, and so on and so forth. And so all of these things, I think they stem from a spiritual point. And it also stems from a psychological point. Because society is not making it easy. Right now, again, coming from the perspective of the youth church, many of the guys are, mature, late 20s, early 30s, and they want to marry, they want to settle down. But Charlie, the wedding these days, it's not a joke.
200,000.
It's not a joke.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, the wedding these days. I mean, even if you say you limit yourself and do just traditional wedding, it's still not a joke. So a lot of these pressures, and this is what creates the absentee fathers, because there's this pressure. My lawyer friend is their children are attending Soul Clinic. I want my children to also attend Soul Clinic, but I know it will break my back. But I will break my back and let them go. So the pressures and all the unspoken expectations of society, our parents, our friends. So it's placed on our mind, and then we force ourselves to go over and above.
I see.
And then it becomes like that.
Something briefly.
Absolutely.
I think that the solution to some of these things that fathers face is that men should own up. They should seek for help. Our society and culture has raised that in such a way that men are not supposed to cry.
There's a stigma around vulnerability.
I tell you,
Yes,
you see, you can never outsource fatherhood. As a child, you need to be taught in the house before you go to school.
Yeah.
Okay? If you leave, the school will give you information, but the father must give you education. Okay? So men should own up. If you need help, see a counselor, see a therapist, open up. It's okay to cry. This attitude of, men must not cry, it ends up damaging our tear bud.
I see.
So they should own up, come out and tell the women. There are women who could assist their husbands, okay? But they get to realize that the man is financially drained. But because of the societal, beliefs, the man is supposed to be the provider and everything. Even if I have, let me keep it to myself. Right. Let him go and struggle. This is what is killing men. And men are dying.
I see quite a number of still questions right there. But let's go closer to a case where the man does not live in the house full time. And is running around, maybe running around the continent, trying to make sure that he brings food to them. Are there successful strategies that we can share with them? Or it is to say, brother, come back and take a job in the jurisdiction and stay?
Yes, I think that it depends on how it is handled. Somebody can be out of the home and still create the bonding, okay, by means of communicating calls, video calls, and bond with the kids every day before they go to bed. When they come back from school, you're able to communicate, with them. Recently, I nearly picked a form to join the Ghana Armed Forces, okay? But, but when I weigh the options, Charlie, peacekeeping 1 year and all these things, I'm like, listen, family first. Family first. I nearly did. So I started working out, going to the gym, to get my 6 packs, because Charlie, the BFT, the basic fitness test, is no joke. Okay. But I sat down, my wife spoke to me, and it's like, are you sure you really want to do this?
Charlie?
I look at my kids, my daughter's faces, and I was like, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's an honorable thing to do, to join the military, to join the police, security service. But then again, let me reconsider my decision and be there for the family. So, Koku, it's a mixture of so many things. But I believe that you can be away and still keep that bond with the family. You can still be present,
right,
and never bond with them.
I see. Let me say this, like, to add to what he said. If you read 1 Samuel 30, David left his citizens in Ziklag and went to fight the Philistines. And he was successful in fighting them. But what he did, he came back and he had raided his home, taken away his wife and everything. What most men do is that we concentrate so much on the outside, and we don't have time for the home. There has to be that, balance. where we have time, whether you are far or away. One, you have to, David did something that I feel he failed this time around. The first time he was going to fight Goliath, he left his sheep in someone, care of someone. But when this time he was going to fight the Philistines, I think maybe everybody went. So who are you leaving your family with? It's very important. You have to ask yourself, okay, is there someone who can oversee my family for me, even in my absence?
I see.
Like he's saying, they go for the peacekeeping. You have people like they can go 1 year, 6 months, you get it. So what happens to the...
Is that a compromise that we have failed to do? Because when you hear the arguments of where the empowerment issues come from, especially with the women, they say that, of course, the boys are allowed to watch television, to go out and play, when the women, the girls are saddled with the chores. So they grow up also with the birth, 9 months, that holds you down. You have some 6 months still there. Quarter, of course, 3 years, then you can bounce back again. The man puts you again in the other way, and then you are there. And men keep going and keep going. Yeah. Is that something that we have failed to do, to compromise? Just as he said that the interest was there, he loved to go there, but he saw the children and decided to stay. Men, are we selfish in that regard?
The Bible says in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8 that any man who fails to provide for members of his family, especially those of his household, first of all, you are worse than an infidel.
Worse than
even an unbeliever is better than you, and you have denied the faith. Don't even call yourself a Christian again. So the man will have to provide.
Yes,
men have to provide. It's a responsibility. We have to, but the issue is balancing that. And today, when I was reading the scriptures, I think it was 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 11. The Bible actually puts the responsibility of exhortation and comfort on the man. That you see, when you think about comfort and exhortation, things are more feminine thing. It means consolation. It's actually the man's job. Yes. Discipline is what we mostly talk about. I think Hebrews chapter 12 verse 9 says, we have earthly fathers who discipline us and we like it. How much more will he not be in subjection to the Father of spirit and live? So discipline, we tend to believe, it's a man's job. If a man is in a house and discipline is around. It's not just discipline. It's also comfort. It's also exhortation. Now, you have to think about all these things and balance that with the provision. To be a man is not for the weak. So as for the provision, Koku, you have to provide whatever measure. If Reverend Sowa decided that he has to be in the armed forces,
right,
it will now have to be upon Reverend Sowa to make sure that being in the armed forces does not affect his being a father. And again, in this technological age, these days, things are easier. I know people who broke up way back then because all that there was letter writing. If your boyfriend travels abroad, does it, you better find another one. It's over. But nowadays, people are interested in long distance relationships even more because there's Facebook video calling, WhatsApp video calling, and all of this. It gives them peace. So you're a father. You are not always at home.
Okay.
Always check. The thing that worries Koku is that the fathers don't know what is going on in the lives of their children, because they are so fixated and concentrated on the provision part. We are so focused on making money and making sure the bills are paid, the school fees is paid, and we don't even stop to ask, how was your day? Who said what today? This one, I would commend one of my friends. All of us call him Teacher Nana.
Okay.
Nana Mpofu. He and his daughters are like this. His daughters can tell him everything. Today this person said this in class. That's a father, classic father. You know exactly what is going on, and it doesn't take anything away from the provision part. Exactly.
Quite a number of comments here as well, and we're learning from them. Pinocchio Epifania says, good evening, everyone. Nana Abna Magi, happy Father's Day, great men of God. I see you, Reverend Mark. Good evening. Paul Heaven Fully. Good evening, William Craig Ishan. comes, being a father is challenging power. Anyways, Nana Abenamagi comes to be a father now. Wow, God bless all good fathers. Indeed, she qualified, he said good fathers. Yeah. I like the sitting arrangement. Daniel Osei Boating says, thank you very much. As well, okay, Doris and Ketia, wow, that's a great responsibility as a father. Annabelle Brown says, it's true, most of the times the males are not trained. That's what he says. Yeah. William Craig Eshan says, fatherhood is about purpose and not just material things. The key word is purpose. The question is, do you know your purpose? Do you know your purpose? Also, some of them still here. I think this is from, what I just read is from Facebook. You can also drop yours on there. Let's go to YouTube. Girls Power Talk Show, a very important subject. Christian Newton, I can't wait for the return of This Is Us. Of course, we can't wait as well. Media Mall Global, I was going to ask about the runaway daddies. Did you get it? Did you get the answer? Media Mall is emotionally absent. Wow, yes. And Christian Newton says, Charlie, pressure on the men, the male man, no be easy crowd. But me, I'm praying for a husband who has a relationship with God, to hear for instructions for the family, and has good character. Wealth is a bonus. Okay. Media Mall Global says, Christianity, you need to be celebrated all the time. And that's it. Say, wealth is a bonus. Charlie, God bless you. God bless you.
We hear you.
Christian Newton. Bra KTV says, happy Father's Day to you guys. Happy Father's Day as well. Malachi 4:5-6 talks about returning the hearts of...
That is what I want to read,
exactly.
And explain that.
Right.
Okay, he said, behold, I send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Now, simply put, paraphrase, what we're trying to glean from here is that anytime you see a land or a town or a country that has been, looks as if there's a curse on the country, it implies the fathers have left and the children have left. The only way the curse problem can be solved is when the fathers are connected back to their children. And we have to look at that.
We'll return after this break. When we come back, there are some sweet words we need to share with you, and then we can get onto the final lap of the conversation and we can call it a night. We still would extend. One day we'll find some time, good time, to come closer to you to have the show. But of course, let's go for this break. When we come back, I have a surprise for you. Stay with us.
Minister Inspires, where we stay inspired. Yeah. So why did you go in the direction of a daycare? I mean, children can be, oh boy.
I was always trying to figure out how things work.
Were you one of those kids that would dismantle things for no reason?
Yes.
Oh God.
Absolutely.
I have one of those.
Relatable.
I already started, drinking. I started smoking
At 9?
at 9 years old.
Really?
Yeah, so I was dealing with the abuse from my mother.
Deeper.
We used to pray together, people that were out of our minds. We were young, bro, but we love God.
More fun. More inspiration.
Have you ever imagined your life without Jesus?
It's always been looking at children as capable and competent, right? There's a reason why Jesus said, let the children come to me. Like, they're not too young to learn and understand.
Yes. Well, I'm back. Enjoy every moment of it because it's going to be superb. Right? Yeah.
It's Benny Stell Inspires Season 2, Friday at 7 p.m. and Tuesdays at 9 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Welcome back, and we're excited that you can stay with us. We're still talking about fathers, whether or not we have fatherhood crisis, or whether or not the absentee fathers must be forgiven or hanged or, put on the cross. And Eben Ampambing says, I'm looking for a school for fathers. Where can I find one? This is one. This is one of my school. This is one. This is where you read this. So get this book, Understanding the Father Factor, by Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Read it. This is a school. This one. It's a whole school. I started, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. We are doing something, we are just trying our best. It's trial and error for us. But once we start from here, I'm sure we'll get it right pretty soon. And with men like this who are providing us with godly wisdom, I think we can get back on the road. I have a surprise for you, right? Quite some special people out there saying some special things about fathers. How about I toss to that? When we come back, we'll take our final words and we're out of here. Take a look.
Fathers are a great blessing to us. The Bible says we should honor our father and our mothers. So if we had the opportunity to celebrate Mother's Day and we have another opportunity to celebrate our fathers, then I think it's a great one. And it's a great blessing to have fathers in our lives to help us and also to guide us on this part of life.
I think that all fathers need to be celebrated. I mean, these are unique people that God has blessed us with. They sacrificed a lot for us without even uttering words, you know. So I think the whole world should join me and every other person to celebrate all the wonderful fathers in the world, especially mine.
Because they are the pillars of our lives. They do everything for us. They go through a lot just to provide for us, and it's very, very good if we celebrate our fathers. We should celebrate fathers because they are really, really trying. They do a lot for us, and we think their good work should be applauded for.
I want to take this opportunity to wish my father happy Father's Day to my daddy, Kwame Eju, from Central Region, Ochiruku.
My message is, I'm wishing my father a happy Father's Day. I pray that God will bless him and give him long life. And I'm wishing any other father in this world a happy Father's Day. May God bless you all.
I'm really happy that they're my father, and I can't imagine life without them.
I celebrate Mr. Dr. Buebu, a man who is my mentor and my everything. He has supported me and done a lot for me. So I say God bless him and God should increase him. More wins and more leadership.
I want to use this opportunity to celebrate my father, Mr. Martin Peli Ajo, for being a great blessing to me, for being there for me, for guiding me through this life, and also to every father figure in my life. I want to say God bless you so much for being there for me. God bless you for helping me all along. It has not been easy, if not for all your influences in my life. I want to say God bless you. Thank you so much.
Jean-Paul Richard says, what a father says to his children is not heard by the world, but it will be heard for posterity. Yeah? So it's just like saying our reward is in heaven. They will not hear it, they will not see it. There are people who are complaining that, you see, we give money to the women. When they are about to give it to the children, they say it's from mother. It's not from father. Please, our reward is in heaven. Relax, relax. But the issue again of, I don't know whether I'm quoting that right, in turning the hearts, if I, in literal sense, is for me forging some great understanding. There should be some sweet and smooth transition. Yeah. So that's what we don't show fathers. Empathy, understanding, and he talked about exhortation and all of that. How should men, by way of final words, how should men approach some of these things? Because empathy, and you're supposed to discipline, and you're supposed to show empathy as well. Balance.
Yeah, we must just represent God. God is both, Jesus is both a lamb and a lion. There are times when Jesus would pardon your sins, and there are times too that he would deal with you.
Yeah.
And number two, fathers must understand this. We all come from a family, but the family that comes out of you is more important than the family you are coming from. And sometimes we take the family we come from and put it on the family that is coming out of. You know, my family is a different family. The family I am creating is a different family. I'm building godliness in them. So I must show that love of God. I am the image of God in the family. when my son sees me, he should see the love of God in me.
Right.
He should understand the love of God. I'm the first Jesus they will see. And God actually wanted us to be the one who would lead the home spiritually. I'm the one who led my son to become born again. At 6 years, I led him to speak in tongues. That role cannot be done not because I'm a pastor, because it is my responsibility. Imagine the child is afraid of me and I say, listen, you have to be born again. Out of fear, he may, but it's not something from the heart. Right. Most parents, most fathers cannot even play with their kids because we think that I have to be a lion. Yes, your kids should not get to the point where they are friends, because if they become too much of friendship, you will lose them. But then you have to learn how, because it's a mystery. As you go on, you learn it.
I see. Interesting. How about you? And final words as well. Empathy, understanding. How do we get the fathers to understand these roles?
I think first of all, we need to have mercy on ourselves as men.
Right.
And we need to calm down. And we need to understand that we are going to be accountable to God in the end.
Yeah.
Not to society or anyone else that we are trying to live our lives for. So we really need to calm down and fear God more than anything else. And Jesus said in Luke 12 verse 15 that a man's life does not consist of the things that he has. Yeah. So if you don't have it now, work towards having it. But don't peg your life at what you have or what you don't have. And don't let that define how hard you should hustle, one day at a time. And also, we need to adopt the attitude of openness. People cannot empathize with what they don't know. If we are going to talk about empathy, then we need to also talk about speaking up, being a bit more open. To be a man is not to endure pain to the point of death.
Okay.
To be a man is to know how to manage things, to know how to put things into the right perspective. Okay. And so, if we do that, we should be fine.
Sorry, what would you tell men, and forgive me, I have to throw this at you, what would you tell men who are on a certain quest to destroy women because of the hurt that they had from their fathers? What would you want to tell them? Because some of them are on rampage, they are destroying things.
So let me look into the camera. I think that it has to do with identity crisis. Get to know yourself, get to know who God has made you, get to know your purpose, and then abort or terminate that plan of destroying women. Because it means that you yourself, you are hurt. Unless you are healed, the woman that comes into your life will also be hurt. But let me also say that, you see, the management of the home is the greatest test of a father's leadership.
Right.
And every man carries in his loins 4 generations. Therefore, as a father, whatever you do today comes upon your sperm, and that affects 4 generations before you. So be responsible, be communicable, transfer morals and values, and provide emotional shelter for your wards. And God bless you.
God bless you. How many of you, I don't know if this could be said as well. I know most of you are bold, and so did you have your father's absent, and how did you deal with it in 30 seconds?
Okay.
Did you have your father absent?
No.
He was okay. Then you are not part of this.
But my father was not there.
Oh, I see. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So me growing up, my father is present.
Right.
But then what happened was that we were never friends.
Okay.
So I finished university. I became a pastor before I understood how to even communicate with my father.
I see.
I can't even hug my father.
See. So how did you start? So you,
because just by being a Christian,
right,
learning how to forgive, learning how to honor your father and mother, that broke the shell.
I see.
So just be a Christian.
I see. Nice one.
It's a similar story.
Similar story, right?
A very formal relationship. If I have needs, I deal with them.
Okay.
Currently, trying in the process, but I wish it was better.
Right.
Yeah,
I see.
My dad is the one who always provided. Okay. I never had an issue with school fees.
Okay.
I never had an issue with bills, and stuff like that. But when it comes to what's going on in my life, when it comes to what's happening, what are the things I really need? So like that emotionally absent father you're talking about,
That's it. How about you?
My father was around, but don't forget, my father was a combatant. He fought in the Second World War. So you don't actually, it was formal, you know, you can't go to him and yes, sir.
Bring that, sir.
You know, so you have no say. As a matter of fact, he told me, I ate danger rice. The rice was red in color. So it tells you what goes on in their mind, you know, but we bonded when he was about to, you know, exit the world. Wow. And then he became the best that I ever had at that particular time.
Wow. But you all have taught yourselves to do right,
exactly.
to change.
The word of God is powerful.
Yeah, it's an intentional habit. I try very much to balance discipline and the emotionalism.
I see.
You know, like this evening before I left, you know, I played a game with them. I said, I can use my leg and use it to switch off the lights.
I see. Well, these are the men, and I want us to also just say a very big thank you to them. Happy Father's Day to you, to all of you. Of course, you celebrated the call. We didn't see you, so thank you very much, Pastor Mark Mlade, of course, to you, Pastor Badi, and of course, Reverend Roland Soa. Thank you to you who watched. Remember that this is my school. Which one is your school? Get this book. Make sure that you get it Amazon, wherever you are in the world. Get to read it. Get to read this book, Understanding the Father Factor by Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Get it, or if you are in Accra, or you can call them, go to the website, Action Chapel, get to the bookshop, their numbers are there, call them. If they can send it to you wherever you are, read it. We need to become fathers. And I must say thank you to all mothers as well. Thank you to all of us, because as for this Father's Day, I think we celebrated it a bit. There was something that happened. Next year, let's keep going. Let's keep elevating the conversation, even as we prepare for the coming of Christ. My name is Kokulumo, and I cannot wait to connect with you again on Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's been Just Ask. God bless you, and we love you, all mothers, all fathers, all children. I'll see you soon.
Necessity for daily triumph.
Africa, we must unite.
We are getting Abrahamic rewards, but we are running away from Abrahamic responsibilities.
Where should Africa sit and stand in this new world order?
Africa has the youngest, fastest growing population. That's a blessing, but it's also a challenge.
Who did God describe as the man after his own heart?
David.
Adam.
My experience, nothing short of amazing.
I never believed I'll be able to do this. Dominion TV's Emerging Leaders program has taught me things about marketing in a corporate setting.
My name is Danny Glover, and you're watching
Dominion TV.